Fall, 1943. A damp morning inside a military supply warehouse in Ohio. There are no gunshots, no sirens, no explosions in the distance, only the smell of wet wood, cold metal, and the slow echo of boots moving across concrete. A young soldier kneels beside a wooden crate. He presses his knee against the lid and pulls at the paper seal with his fingers. The paper has softened from rain. The wax coating flakes apart in brittle pieces. He pulls again. The paper tears unevenly. His fingernail scrapes the wood and splits slightly. Behind him, someone is shouting about delays. Trucks are already waiting outside. Schedules are slipping. The soldier exhales, not in anger, in resignation. He isn't thinking about innovation. He isn't thinking about design. He's thinking about time, about how many seconds are being wasted on something this small. And he has no idea that, just months later, a small, ugly object, something no one would ever admire, would quietly erase moments like this from daily life. No announcement, no headline, no inventor posing for a photograph. But in war, the tools that matter most are often the ones no one notices.
It wasn't shiny. It wasn't smooth. It wasn't precise. Just a roll of gray cloth tape. Rough to the touch, slightly sticky, smelling faintly of rubber. You could tear it with your hands. No scissors, no knife, no careful measurement. It wasn't elegant. It wasn't refined. And no one thought of it as an invention, which is exactly why it spread so fast. People used it to hold things together, to patch something that broke too soon, to fix something that wasn't supposed to be fixed. And then something strange happened. Wherever this tape appeared, things stopped failing so quickly. Ammo crates opened cleanly. Radios stayed dry. Loose wires stopped rattling. The tape didn't make machines better. It made failure slower. It didn't change the war itself, but it changed the moments inside the war. And sometimes, a few saved seconds are the difference between panic and survival.
In 1943, America didn't lack weapons. What it lacked was margin for error. The war effort expanded faster than any system had been designed to handle. Factories ran around the clock. Trains moved day and night. Supply chains stretched across oceans and continents. And yet the smallest weak points caused the largest delays. Crates, boxes, packaging. Most military supply containers were sealed with paper and wax. They were cheap, they were familiar, and they were completely unprepared for rain, mud, cold, and stress. When a crate arrived damaged, it didn't just slow down one soldier. It delayed entire units. It backed up loading docks. It forced improvisation under pressure. Every delay created another delay. Trucks waited. Men waited. Operations slipped. The problem was simple to describe and nearly impossible to solve. How do you seal something that must be waterproof, cheap, easy to open, tool-free, and reliable when hands are cold and time is short? In a wartime economy, there was no room for elegance. The solution didn't come from a laboratory. It came from a factory floor. A woman named Vesta Stout, a worker at a munitions plant, noticed soldiers struggling to open ammo boxes. She wasn't an engineer. She wasn't a designer. She wrote a letter directly to President Franklin D. Roosevelt. She described the problem plainly and suggested a solution just as plain: a strong, waterproof tape that could be torn by hand. ugly, cheap, effective. This tape wasn't clever. It didn't rely on precision engineering. It didn't require training. It was built from 3 simple layers: cotton cloth for strength, a rubber-based adhesive for instant grip, and a water-resistant backing to keep moisture out. No heat, no curing time, no perfect alignment. You pressed it down, and it worked. More sophisticated solutions already existed: liquid adhesives, metal fasteners, specialized sealing wax. All of them failed under real conditions, because war doesn't wait for things to dry, and it doesn't forgive complexity. Duct tape succeeded not by adding features, but by removing everything unnecessary. No polish, no precision, no perfection. Just speed, reliability, forgiveness. It wasn't advanced engineering. It was survival logic. There was no instruction manual. Soldiers learned duct tape by necessity. They wrapped it around torn boots to keep marching. They secured loose rifle parts when replacements weren't available. They patched radio casings to keep communication alive. They held bandages in place when medical supplies ran thin. They sealed tent seams against rain and wind. They marked equipment in the dark without making a sound. No one was trained to do this. No one was told to. It spread quietly, from unit to unit, from hand to hand. And something subtle changed. When equipment breaks easily, people hesitate. They slow down. They second-guess themselves. But when people believe this can be fixed, they move differently. They improvise. They adapt. They stay calm longer. Duct tape didn't just hold objects together. It held morale together. It created the sense that failure wasn't final, that problems were temporary. It didn't rewrite history books, but it changed how long people endured inside history. Quietly, without recognition. Other nations faced the same challenges. Britain relied heavily on twine and wax seals. They worked well indoors, but failed in prolonged rain. Germany favored metal fasteners and locking systems. Durable, precise, but slow and unforgiving under stress. Both approaches reflected strong engineering traditions, but neither prioritized speed of improvisation. American duct tape wasn't superior technology, it was superior under chaos. When tools are lost, when hands are cold, when light is low, simplicity wins. In those moments, ease matters more than precision. Duct tape was never designed to be admired. It wasn't meant to be remembered. It wasn't meant to be beautiful. It was designed to not fail when everything else already had. In war, the things that save lives rarely stand out. They don't get names. They don't get credit. They don't get monuments. They simply exist. And they work. And sometimes that is more than enough.